getting you every day. I mean, once a week was, great, but now it's every day.
My goal is to do it like 3 or 4 times a day.
Wow.
Ellen DeGeneres is one of the funniest people on earth and a beloved TV show host. But she can also be a nightmare to work with. Allow us to show you some of the biggest examples of this.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
5. She's Ellen. Fun fact, Ellen isn't exactly the person you think she is. No, really, we mean it.
It's September 8th. This is our very, very first show, and you are my very first audience.
When Ellen first got her talk show, her claim to fame was her dancing, and dancing with celebrities, and dancing with the audience members. And more. She did that at first just to have fun and connect with people, and it worked. And her show got huge with that as a factor. But if you fast forward to now, you'll see that she doesn't dance anymore, at all. Why is that? It's because she's sick of it. And when she went out into public, a lot of people would randomly ask Ellen to dance, and she'd straight up tell them no.
Whenever they see me anywhere, they're like, "Dance, Ellen, dance!" I'm getting a mammogram, I can't move right now.
In an interview from a year or so back, Ellen noted that the person you see on TV isn't the person she is in real life. She's a lot more shrewd, and she only does certain kinds of comedy when she's with others. When she's in front of your camera, she'll be your best friend. But behind camera, it's more like a sister that you don't always get along with. That's not to say that Ellen is a bad person, far from it. But her personality, both in her real form and on-screen form, can be a lot to get used to and understand and tolerate. Not that Ellen cares at times either way. She's never afraid to cut off people when they're crossing a line, or make sure that certain things don't happen when she's not comfortable with it. Ellen is being herself almost 100% of the time, even if you don't realize it. And that can make for some rather awkward interviews and segments. 4. Ellen and Michelle Obama. Yeah, didn't see this entry coming, did you? Michelle Obama was the special star guest on The Ellen Show way back in 2016. And as is the typical way Ellen is, she likes to take expectations and shove them out the window. During Michelle's guest appearance, instead of just interviewing Michelle Obama, Ellen decided to take her shopping. Yep, these two gals took a trip to a nearby CVS pharmacy and decided to help her adjust to life after the White House, in which she had all the shopping and meals taken care of for her to limit exposure and threat to harm. Also, like Ellen, she didn't waste a single moment in her adventure with Michelle to rib her, joke with her, and try to make fun of the power that she had as First Lady. The best clapback moment by far, though, was when Ellen asked Michelle if she could pull some strings with the people at the US Mint to make it so that Ellen herself could be the face of some money.
Can you get my face on money?
No, I can't.
Why not?
We don't do that.
You might think that Ellen is joking about this, but I would actually bet that she wasn't in some ways. She even started to make a pitch as to how and why she should be the face of a dollar bill. Michelle wasn't having it though, and noted that you had to do something grand to get your face on money. For example, doing something historically memorable like Harriet Tubman and freeing slaves. This is definitely a burn coming from Michelle, because obviously Ellen has never done anything like that, especially something that is notable or extraordinary, outside of her support of the LGBTQ+ culture. Many have looked at this segment and noted that Ellen was really trying to do everything to get under Michelle's skin, even noting that she was acting like a 3-year-old at one point because of her childish acts.
You know, you're really annoying. It's like taking a 3-year-old to the store.
While some of it was funny, it definitely rubbed Miss Obama the wrong way, and she wasn't the first or last person to have that kind of reaction. 3. Ellen and Cher. As noted, Ellen can be a great host, but she can also make some mistakes, and that includes taking her exuberant personality a bit too far. A great example of this was when she had the one and only Cher on her show. Cher is of course a musical icon, and someone who takes herself very seriously in many of the things that she's accomplished. For fun, Ellen took her to a hair salon and decided to surprise some people with some funny haircuts done by the two of them. A perfectly wonderful idea, and Cher was into this, and actually was taking this all seriously in regards to having fun with the guests, and giving them good hair, or wacky hair, or what have you. But Ellen? Yeah, she kept hamming up the joint, which you could say is what she does. But there is a line, and she definitely crossed it with Cher. For example, when taking care of two guests, Ellen continually interfered with Cher's work, including dousing her guest with water via a sprayer before Cher could even go to work. Cher kept insisting that she didn't want the lady's hair wet, but Ellen didn't bite and kept dousing her.
I don't want it wet.
No, you do. You have to start with it wet.
Stop it.
Then she started to do some karaoke on Cher's songs and called out the lyrics, which got Cher to clap back at her. And let's just say that she didn't like what Ellen said and called her a not-so-nice name.
You're such a bitch.
At the end, Ellen tried to say that her and Cher were best friends, but you could see that Cher wasn't buying that and even walked away from her.
I feel like we're best friends now.
Yeah?
We're not?
No.
I feel like we're best friends.
No, but we're not.
You could also tell from the entire segment that Cher was getting more and more annoyed with Ellen the longer the segment went on. Yes, Ellen as a host is supposed to try and have fun with her guests, but the truth is that sometimes you need to respect the personalities of the guest, and that didn't happen with Cher, and that's what made this very awkward. And this in turn is another reason she can be a nightmare to work with, because sometimes she just turns that personality up to another level, and it rubbed people the wrong way. 2. Jump scares. What? You thought Ellen's torturing of people was limited to certain skits? Oh no, she does all sorts of pranks on people. And sometimes, the best prank is the one that is done in seconds, and no one sees coming. And Ellen DeGeneres knows that very well, because her longest running and most frequent joke on her show isn't some elaborate scheme that requires a ton of thought, but rather, it's a jump scare gag.
What the hell? I didn't have Justin. I had him.
Which she had done to many people over the years of her show. And it can be mean, but also hilarious in all the right ways. Or at least, it's funny to the audience. If you somehow don't know what that is, it's when you hide from someone that is nearby, and when they approach, you jump out and scare them. Not only has Ellen done that in the past, she also uses her set and staff to add to the jump scares. Over the many years Ellen has been doing the show, she had done basic jump scares like hiding in a bathroom and waiting for her guests to arrive so she can scare the daylights out of them. And one she frequently does is using her side table to hide members of her staff inside, so that at random times they'll pop out during an interview and scare the person senseless. She'll even try and lure information out of her victims by finding out what they're scared of the most, and have them be blindsided by someone dressed up as their fears to make the scares even more terrifying. But in a fun twist, comedian Steve Carell decided to do a jump scare on Ellen before he was introduced. He snuck up behind her as she was winding up for his introduction, and then scared her half to death.
Please welcome.
Turnabout is fair play, Ellen. Never forget that. Of course, the question here is, did Ellen take this too far with her guests? Well, despite what you might think, Ellen honestly is really crafty, to the extent that she likely knows which guests can take a joke, and which ones will get really upset with her for doing it. Sure, it's not 100% accurate all the time, but she knows better than to get so mean that they'll march off stage or whatever. So it's likely that Ellen knows who to prank, but for the guests, I'm sure it's a heart-stopping experience that they personally want to forget for various reasons. And no one likes to have jump scares happen to them, because it takes a while to come down from the adrenaline in their system. So no doubt any new guest of Ellen's is going to be looking around to make sure that no one is waiting to surprise them. 1. Pranks on the crew. What's that? You think that Ellen only likes to pull jokes on celebrities? Oh no, she sometimes goes far beyond that, and she's not afraid to get a little mean in doing so. Here's another one of Ellen's more simple pranks, but one that is very elegant in how it was done, even if it did come at the cost of a new employee. During the 2010 holiday season, Ellen got a new staff member by the name of Allison, and she decided to give her the gift of a holiday prank. It was simple enough. Allison was working at a desk in the lobby, when suddenly the nearby door burst open and a person dressed in black, with a headdress on and long fingernails, ran out without saying much and then vanished from sight. The jolt was surely enough of a fright, but then the act of seeing who or what it was surely was just as scary. Then the door burst open again, and a person in a white wedding dress burst out and did a similar gig. Seconds later, from the nearby hall, a final person jumped out in basically gnome gear. Did you figure out the prank? These weren't randomly dressed people. They were imitating the ghosts of Christmas future, present, and past. Happy holidays, Allison. Yeah, this would make me hesitate to work with Ellen. I mean, pranking the new girl on her first day? Come on, Ellen. So, what do you think? What do you think of these reasons and instances that show Ellen can be a nightmare to work with? Would you want a prank or event to happen to you because Ellen thought it was funny? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe. and I'll see you next time on the channel.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.